Hi everyone, welcome to the CATE Overview webinar. The purpose of this webinar is just to give you all an overview of CATE in general, what the programs are, who can teach them, what our responsibilities are as a school, how does the district support and oversee our CATE programs, how do we put information into PowerSchool, are there assessments, how are we evaluated by the State Department of Education, and where can I find CATE resources? So the first thing let's talk about is what is CATE. So CATE is referred to as CATE as the acronym, but it is about career and technology education. The goal in our district is to provide instruction and programs to prepare our students to become college and career ready when they graduate. Programs should be offered based on the needs and interests of the students. The mission of the Office of Career and Technology at the State Department is to provide leadership to districts and schools which support career and technical instruction for students in grades 7 to 12. And our goal in South Carolina Public Charter School District is to continue to grow our CATE programs and offer a variety of completer programs, post-secondary, and industry credentials. So some of the CATE programs that are out there are many programs and services that can be offered through CATE. A list of those programs can be found on the South Carolina Department of Education website, but some examples are agriculture, human services, finance and hospitality and tourism, health science, marketing, and business management, for example. There are career clusters, and those are pathways from secondary schools to 2- and 4-year colleges, graduate school, and the workplace. Each CATE course has standards, so each course has different standards and what needs to be taught for those courses. There is a group called Special Populations and Non-Traditional Programs. Those are programs who have students who are enrolled in CATE programs and receiving support services. Often we have confusion about what's a concentrator, what's a completer. What does all that mean? Well, a concentrator is a secondary student with an assigned CATE code who has earned 3 Carnegie units of credit in a state-recognized CATE program. A state-recognized CATE program must be composed of an improved sequence of career and technology education courses leading to career goals and must include the minimum number of Carnegie units of credit required for the program. So those programs, those concentrators are those full programs that are being offered. A completer is a student who has earned all the required units in the state-recognized programs identified by the code. There are lots of pathways where students can earn college credit, such as dual enrollment, or we often have schools, or there are situations where certification exams can be given to the students in which they receive national and state credentials. So what are your responsibilities as a school if you offer CATE programs? The first responsibility is that we highly recommend that each school identify a CATE coordinator for your building. Beginning in the 2019-20 school year, any school that's going to or will receive or request to receive either state or federal CATE funds will have to fill out a program of study. Viewing any CATE webinars that have been posted, providing certifications of teachers teaching CATE courses, providing budget wish lists in its entirety, maintaining quality measure surveys, conducting advisory council meetings at least twice a year, ensuring students are coded in PowerSchool correctly and accurately, and submitting and maintaining financial documents to the district for reimbursement. So those are the basic responsibilities. The next webinar that will be distributed will be one on the program of studies, and then following that there'll be one on the finance piece of CATE. So beginning in the year 1920, each school that is offering CATE programs or courses will be required to submit various documentation throughout the school year. TASC will be setting up a center for all submissions. Although the school will not get a rating for compliance, those schools that fail to comply may risk receiving Perkins or EIA funds in the future. So this is for any school who's going to be or wishes to receive federal or state CATE funds. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So again, beginning next school year, what's been created is the CATE Comprehensive Program Review, otherwise known as the CCPR. So what it is, it's to ensure that we are offering quality programs and that we, of course, are staying within the state and federal guidelines for CATE. As you know, we are auditing our federal programs, which includes CATE, and there is some documentation that we will have to provide to the State Department as a district to ensure that we're following the program regulations. So this right here is just the basic of the information of the what it is, when it is. So it's going to occur annually. It'll be during the fall and the spring. Who may come on site would be the district CATE director, maybe the executive director operations of schools, or perhaps maybe a school leader, power school coordinator, or somebody of that nature. You will receive feedback directly from the CATE director, which is me, at least twice a year in regard to your required submissions and components. Schools who are not complying with CATE requirements may risk not receiving further CATE funds or be placed on a district improvement plan as developed by the CATE director. So what are you going to have to turn in? So the first thing that will be due will be the CATE program of study. That's going to be due July 31st. The next thing that any coordinators and teachers have viewed this webinar as well as the other two that will be coming out. We'll need the certifications of the teachers providing CATE instruction. We'll need that you've provided your wish list in its entirety. We'll need documentation that you've done and conducted your quality review measure surveys, as well as a picture of the maintained CATE notebooks. Each class should be maintaining a notebook which would include and house those quality review measures. That you as a school are conducting advisory council meetings. That has to happen at least twice a year. In those meetings, there should be agendas, sign-in sheets, meeting minutes. All of that documentation will need to be submitted. A Power School report indicating students coded for CATE classes. And then any other requirement, all required documentations for financial reimbursement. So you can see you're not going to get a rating like a 1, 2, or 3. It's either you did it or you didn't do it. And an explanation will be provided as to you turned it in, and then if you didn't turn it in, that'll also be provided. So this will be sent out to those schools who are requesting or will receive state or federal CATE funds. And that is just starting, that will just be starting next school year. So CATE teaching certifications, who can teach these courses? So anyone who teaches a CATE course must be certified or have participated in the work-based teacher licensure. I'm not going to take the time in this webinar to go through all that. It is extensive, but the information can be found on the SDE website, and there's the link. So all that information for certification and or work-based teacher license is also on the state website. So in terms of Power Schools, students enrolled in CATE programs must be identified in Power Schools. Identifying procedures can be found on the State Department website, as well as the South Carolina Public Charter School District CATE Google site, which we'll go through here at the end of this webinar. So in Power School, you click on the state province-SC to retrieve the links to the South Carolina Power School pages. Then click on the CATE link. It will guide you through and you'll have to answer those questions there. So CATE assessments, are there assessments associated with CATE? Well, yes, there's assessments associated with everything. So yes, there are completer assessments or certification assessments. So around April, the CATE director will reach out to you and request individual names and program tests they will be taking. There are CATE reporting procedures, and how to enter that information into PowerSchool. Again, you'll be able to find those on the South Carolina Public Charter School District CATE Google site. And those results are utilized to assist with our performance indicators and ratings from the state. So we are evaluated by the State Department of Education based on our Perkins 4 performance indicators. And you can see here, this is our report from last school year from 17 and 18. So there on the left, you see the Perkins indicator. So we have academic attainment in reading and language, academic attainment in math, technical skills attainment, school completion, school graduation rates, placement, non-traditional, and non-traditional completion. So these goals are set up by the State Department of Education along with the district. And our goal, obviously, is to meet the goals that were set. And as you can see in 17 and 18, we did, with the exception of non-traditional completion. And then did we meet 90% of the goal? And you can see in every area we did, with the exception of non-traditional completion. Now, we have a little bit of a freebie next school year. As some of you know, Perkins 4 has been reauthorized and it's now Perkins 5. That won't take in effect fully into our state until the 2021 school year. But typically, any school that has a no in meeting in any goal areas or meeting 90% would have to be put on an improvement plan for the State Department. But because we and the State Department are in a transition year with the new reauthorization, no district will be required to do an improvement plan for the 1920 school year. So we're very fortunate that we don't have to do that. This is for the district as a whole. I have requested from SDE that we get a breakdown per school so we can get a feel for how each of your schools who are offering CATE programs are doing on these goals. I'm still waiting for that information, but I have asked them to break it down by school for us. So what are some resources we have for CATE? So first thing you have is the South Carolina Department of Education website, and there's the link. And then we also have a South Carolina Public Charter School Google site, and there's the link for that. And I do want to take a minute just to go through that site to show you what it looks like. So you can see here, this is our CATE piece of the federal programs Google site. As you can see here, there's my contact information, some general information on the first page. There also is the calendar events, the Department of Ed contacts. Here is a Perkins 5 comparison to the Perkins 4, so you can see the difference between the two and what's been changed. And here's our 2 Perkins indicator performance reports. Like we just went over, this is 16 and 17, and there's 17 and 18. Under compliance, you just click those tabs. Here you're going to have that comprehensive program review that we went over, and then also the program of study that's going to be required for any school utilizing state or federal funds. In the courses and codes, what you're going to find is all of the programs and courses through CASE, work-based certificate program, required credentials for teachers, the 3-unit completer memos, pathways to success, and then this was added computer science graduation credit. That was 2018. In the funding guide section, here you can find the local plan users guide, a Perkins quick reference, all about the Perkins accountability indicators, the administration, and these two, the Perkins expenditure guidelines and the EIA expenditure guidelines. Those are the 2 documents in which describes what funds can be used for. When you go to reporting procedures, here's some more updated information. There's our PowerSchool updates from 2018. Here's information about performance accountability. There's some fall assessment directions. There's information about data reporting. The 2018-19 reporting procedures, that's the one that's going to take you into about PowerSchool, what needs to be in there, all of that good stuff. Quality review measures, that explains what they are and what the responsibilities are. fiscal and compliance monitoring, for which we as a district are held to by the SDE. Here's a handbook for your advisory councils that we're going to have to be held. And all you need to do to get to these documents is just click on the links. My computer's a little slow, but it's going to open up that document. So this document is all about the policies and regulations from the Department of Education of what has to be incorporated into the advisory council meetings that have to be held at least twice a year. We go back here, there's some equipment guidelines, the equipment inventory you'll have to do, and then there's a quick information guide I created in regards to PowerSchool. And then resources. So this has some interesting resources on here that I found through some of the CATE workshops I've attended. So there's Project Lead the Way, there's ONET, career guidance, there's some PD. So this is just some general resources. This website will be updated frequently. So please utilize this. This is where everything CATE related will be housed. So if you need something, if you're not sure of what you can spend money on, if you're not sure what licensure is required for a teacher, you can come right to this website, find those documents, and have it right there on your at your fingertips. So utilize this. I hope you find it helpful. If you have questions regarding CATE, I'm the person that you want to talk to. So there's those websites again. And then there's my direct information. So please be sure to reach out. Hopefully that was just a general quick and dirty of CATE overall and what it is and why we do it and what are some of the requirements.